Eileen, hey, congratulations for Billy the Kid on EPIX.
Thank you very much. I'm very, very lucky. I'm feeling a lot of gratitude today for being lucky enough to have been in such an amazing production. Yeah, sorry, I was just talking about my death. I'm still recording. That's why I'm late.
Well, before I start, I was about to interview you on the red carpet in Hollywood, but you had that unfortunate incident. Were you all right?
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I'm getting to speak to you today then. I have no idea what happened. I then regretted talking to like my agent and my manager's assistant in the car for so long because I hadn't seen them, and I was like blah, 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 blah. And then I got there and I was like da, 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 da. And then at the time I got there, I just was choking and I couldn't stop. And also, it's not the time to choke or cough. So I felt like the taboo of what that is in today's society was like, oh. But it's accurate. Like Kathleen, I died before the end of the line. Started strong and then it never made it to the end. Sorry about that. It's just really, London, Ireland, it's a reason it's so green. It's because there's a lot of moisture. California is very dry. It's a dry air.
Well, I'm glad you're all right. Well, Eileen, well, let's talk about your role in this series. But what initially attracted you to this project of Billy the Kid in the first place?
Well, I was sent through the script. I think I got episode 1 and a couple of scenes to audition with. One with like Patty, I think, when we were going to New York, and like one with Henry. So like, I knew at that point I had 2 husbands because I had 2 different men that I was married to. So I knew from the offset. And I think it's testament really to Michael's incredible writing. Like, I read it and I went, I think I know who this person is. Or sometimes like you just read things and you go, I think I understand. Or I could offer something. That's a better way to put it. Mm-hmm. I was thinking, I have an idea for this and I have an offering to make. And it was during lockdown. No, was it lockdown? It was just before lockdown. I don't know. I feel like we were in our houses for quite a while. I think I definitely did it as a tape. So I was in my own house and there was something about, I just thought I'll give my interpretation of this and sent it in. And yeah, and then it sort of came back and I recalled Ben and I met Otto, who directed 1 and 2. And I had everything just sort of like clicked into place. Well, in fairness, I was really loving it when I went for my recall and I was home in Ireland, and my mother is going to kill me when I say this, but I happened to be home in Ireland when the recall was. And there was so much stuff in my house, like I think we're hoarders. So I had put a big grey sheet over lots of boxes, and I'm not sure what was in the boxes, just so I looked like I had some kind of neutral background. And the whole time I was thinking, this tar is going to fall on me, or the sheet is going to fall off, and everybody is going to see, everybody in Canada and LA and London and wherever got it, all the little boxes on my screen, because I had a recall it on Zoom like this. I was like, it's all so I was slightly on tenterhooks of going, everything fine, and I was like, yes, so great. And I had the worst internet connection as well. So when it came back that I got the part, I definitely did a few victory laps around my own sitting room. Do you do that, or is it just me? Like, I will actually do like a little so that definitely happened because it's a gift of a part. Kathleen is such a, she stole my heart a little bit, and I think that it was lovely to play somebody that had so much heart and so much goodness and kindness and all these kind of attributes and the journey that she goes on was just amazing. And also I was very excited about being in a Western, so I didn't think that was ever going to happen. So I was really thrilled.
How much research did you get into Kathleen, the real Kathleen, and Billy the Kid?
I looked at the historical facts. There's way more on Billy than there is on Kathleen. But then I sort of pulled back more to looking at the script in terms of Billy and Kathleen, and maybe understanding a bit more about what life was like in New York at the time. Like we would have done in Ireland, just generally knowing our own history, you know, the reasons for the immigration to America, that kind of thing. And I think that kind of understanding for me was helpful at the very beginning, just to understand what's a given, you know, like to understand, you know, to play historical female characters when we live in a society where my rights are very different to the rights of Kathleen. You know, things that I would go, oh, I can't believe that you're not giving me a loan in the bank. It's not really, you know, it's a male world. There's no voice. So I try to seek the power in the character in different places, like, and so much of that is in a strong sense of self, because when you are in a society that you might feel powerless, we're not actually powerless, because we've got full control and full conviction over all of our actions. And I just felt like with Kathleen, she had such a strong sense of understanding the world. So I just wanted to put that gaze kind of across. And I think what Michael's script was so good at is the fact that Billy could see the world through his mother's eyes. So to see it through a female's perspective, Billy seemed to have a real good understanding of what that was. And she's smart, you know, she's educated. She's got all the tools that are actually priceless. So it didn't matter that I was poor. I had some priceless skills.
Well, I mean, I sit when I was watching, I see Kathleen was like a survivor. She's just trying to do anything and everything for her sons.
And that's so much of the motivation, and why going to the script was the way to play this character for me, because the things that are happening directly affect the next thing. And Kathleen is certainly not a mother that is going to, you know, not look after her children or not try to make things better for her children. She's innately selfless. So she's just, so that survival instinct is almost tied into the hope in the piece. Like she's moving forward to a bit even beyond survival, to contentment. Like there's a goal. So there's surviving and there's hope, which makes her a very positive character and you know, a light. Like, you know, all these terrible things happen to Kathleen, but there's so much optimism and hope and tied into that, which I think you really, really need in such a corrupt society. Like you need that element of people, you know, there's good people out there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now, you know, one of the things I'm glad is that you being an Irish woman getting to play Kathleen, but do you see your part more of like an Irish story, or do you see it more of a Western to you?
I think the amazing thing about the script is it's a drama. You know, I saw this as the story of, you know, because I have to come at it from my character's point of view. So it's nearly like the story of immigration and the story of what that time period is moving into the West, because the West isn't actually even established. When we arrive at Coffeyville, some tents and things. So this thing that you might think of is not even established yet. And what I really loved about Michael's scripts were the fact that all of these characters were so relatable. Like their dynamics were relatable. He was completely humanizing the whole thing to the point where I hope you or me or anybody could feel like we would actually understand exactly what it was to live at that time. Like even the fact that we touched on, you know, Paddy doesn't die in some big shootout. Paddy dies because he's struggling with like a mental health issue. And even that is incredibly understandable. Imagine taking your family into the complete unknown where nothing is established, but you're supposed to be head of the household, and all of those things have always been around, but have we seen them depicted in this way? I don't think so, which is why this story in particular, the humanity of it, made it so appealing to me, and is the thing that I think gives it so much heart. And I would hope as a viewer will make them be able to like imagine themselves in Coffeyville or Santa Fe or Silver City. We go in a lot of places, or be in the wagon. I can tell you what it was like in the wagon. It's very uncomfortable on the bus, but great fun. Do love a horse.
Wow. Now, like you were talking to other interviewers about your death scene. Is this your first death scene? I mean, how do you handle something so, you know, how do you say, so serene and towards the end for yourself?
I'm trying to think. Do I die? I have died before, actually. I have died more than once. I've actually even been to my own funeral, which is really odd. I was a corpse inside a coffin inside a synagogue in Malta. That was very weird. Mostly because I looked out and seen 200 extras dressed in black. And I was like, this really is my own funeral. So weirdly, yes, I have died before. This death felt very different, I think, because I'm so sorry, I just noticed it got really dark. That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to fix that, but I can't fix it. The sun's going down in London. Because it was Kathleen, and because it was Billy, and I think I touched on this earlier. Michael had created like an amazing, he gave it a bit of space, you know, time. You know, there was we sort of thought about it in like 3 sections. And the first bit, I think the first bit was so poignant because Kathleen showed fear. And I think she never allowed herself to show any fear, particularly to her children. But I think Billy was almost nearly as a peer. You know, she never spoke down to him. She was very frank and told him the truth always. But then what I loved was she did her complete Kathleen thing and came to terms with it herself, but made it okay for Billy. Like, and that element of it, I think, is the bit I get the most emotional about, because I think she did such an amazing job with the Billy that she created. Not the Billy that she created, but, you know, there's so much of his personality and attributes and, you know, things that are important to him. I love the way that Michael always puts that in. It's important to me. The things that are important to him, I think he's gleaned what they should be from Kathleen. And I think she's very proud nearly in that moment of what she did achieve and how she mightn't have got to the bit that she wanted, but I do genuinely believe she thinks Billy will. And then the last bit is just, yeah. Okay, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it was very, very special because it's such a special job, and I feel so lucky to have played Kathleen, particularly when she's such an influence on Billy, and Billy's story has been told a few times, and it was nice that she was present. Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. I'm glad you are very candid and honest about your conversations here. But I do really appreciate this discussion. And you're right, Kathleen is a foundation of Billy the Kid's life. So for you, Eileen, congratulations. You've done a wonderful part in this series, and hopefully I get to talk to you again on the red carpet without any heavy breathing or choking.
I'm so sorry. Get to the, I'll come find you first. I apologize profusely. I tried really hard. I was like,
I know you did.
But thank you very much. It's such a pleasure to speak to you. I've rambled now, I'm embarrassed, but I told you the truth. That's fine.
That's right.
Always.
Hopefully next time.